Baba! Mama!
Uthman, a Latina from Puerto Rico and the daughter of a U.S. Army officer, converted to Islam after an impressive journey in search of the true religion. She had the opportunity to travel all over the United States, and this enabled her to search for the truth in different places and churches. Her interest in Islam began after she watched a film about the life of Muslim civil rights leader Malcolm X. She finally converted to Islam in 2000 after meeting a Muslim family. She is now involved in helping other Spanish speakers learn about the beauty of Islam through her educational organization, Hablamos Islam, and her project, Hablamos Islam Niños, for children. Uthman has written and published numerous bilingual children's books on various Islamic topics that are distributed throughout Latin America, Spain, and the United States.
I was born in Puerto Rico. My father joined the Army, the U.S. Army, when I was about maybe 5 or 6 years old, and eventually we moved to the United States.
She belonged to a religious family. She and her family used to practice Christianity according to the Catholic doctrine. She and her family used to go to church regularly on Sundays. However, she did not like church's statues and pictures.
For some reason, as a child, I never felt comfortable going to the Catholic Church. There was something about walking inside the church and seeing many statues, many paintings of Jesus, of saints, of supposedly the Virgin Mary. I would feel uncomfortable. I felt like the statues were looking at me, and I was a little girl, scared.
Her perplexity lasted until she reached adulthood, and during that time, Allah's will led her to view a movie about the Muslim civil rights advocate Malcolm X.
When I went into Maryland, I became a little depressed because I didn't know anyone. So during that time, I had seen a movie that caught my attention. It was called Malcolm X. And I was very impressed by the person Malcolm X. And when I watched the movie, I said, I need to read this man's autobiography. So I bought his autobiography and I read it from cover to cover. And that was the first time that I ever learned anything about Islam.
Then Uthman got to know a conservative Catholic family just like hers. The father was a priest, and this was an opportunity to ask him about Christianity in the hopes that she would be persuaded. But the priest's answers did not convince her. Later, she got to know an Egyptian Muslim classmate from a conservative family like hers.
Both of our parents were very strict. My parents were so traditional, so strict that they wouldn't even let me go out with girlfriends outside to the mall or any place. I couldn't go anywhere with anyone. So her parents were the same way. They wouldn't let her go out.
Uthman's father moved a lot. And it happened when she was in a city called Augusta in the state of Georgia. She and her father went out looking for a church to worship in. During their research, they came across two opposite churches, one old and decaying, while the other one is new and cared for. Both are Catholic churches. They decided to enter the new church. As soon as they entered the new church, and as they were of colored skin, the church people led them out.
When we walked in, they were having a service. Everyone turned around and looked at us, and one man got up and he approached my father and I, and he said, if you're looking for the black church, it's over there. And basically, he walked us out. And it was shocking because this is the first time that I experienced something like that. My father is darker skinned than I am. He has darker skin than I am. But everyone in that church had white skin, blue eyes, light eyes. We stuck out like a sore thumb. So we walked over to the other church, and mashallah, it was a small community. They welcomed us and we sat there, but I didn't feel right after that. And I told my dad, you know what, that's it, I'm done, I'm good. You know, I'm gonna worship God in my own house.
Uthman decided not to go to churches again and to worship God at home. But this did not satisfy her curiosity. Uthman moved away from her Muslim friend Hibatullah because of her father's constant movement. But she longed to see her friend Hibatullah. Her father booked a plane ticket for her, and she happened to go to her friend in the last days of Ramadan. Uthman spent days of Ramadan and Eid days with her Egyptian friend and her family in an atmosphere full of purity and spirituality. With Hebatullah's family, she performed the Eid al-Fitr prayer as if she were a Muslim. She returned to ask questions about religion. It was amazing that everything going through her mind had a logical answer in Hibatullah and her father's minds. But the questions did not end, so Hibatullah's father gave her a small book called Islam versus Christianity.
And it was a very small book, and when I read that book, every single question that I had ever had about God, about life, about Jesus, who he was, why I didn't feel right going to the Catholic Church, why going to the Christian church wasn't enough for me. Because I was looking for an answer that I finally found in this little book after asking some questions.
Thus, Uthman decided to convert to Islam after her exciting search for the truth. Uthman pronounced the Shahada and decided to tell her Muslim friend Hibatullah.
You know, I took my Shahada yesterday. And she said, what? You did what? I took my Shahada yesterday. All I heard was, Baba! Mama! As she was screaming to her parents what I had done. Immediately her parents, they begged me to fly to see them, and I did so, and they took me to the mosque and they said, you have to do your Shahada in the masjid. So I did my Shahada 3 times, alhamdulillah.